There are 12 ways that rich people think differently than most everyone else. And in this video, I'm going to share with you that millionaire mindset so you can adopt it for you and your life. What's going on, guys? Yuri Elkaim here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help world-class health professionals build world-class coaching businesses. And a big piece of the work that we do with our clients is really working on their mindset, because really what you get in life is a reflection of what's going on in here. Before we dive in, you might be asking, okay, Yuri, why should I listen to you? Well, here's the reality. I've been in business now for 20 years. I started off as a dead broke personal trainer. I came online in 2005 to start my first online business, and I lived on poverty line income for the first 3 years. I went from that to becoming a decamillionaire by 41, having built and sold my first business online in the health space for multiple seven figures, and I would run the world's largest company helping health professionals build their businesses online called Healthpreneur. I only teach what I personally mastered, and I'd say, some of the stuff I'm sharing with you here is not just stuff that I've had to develop, but also mindsets that I've seen in other very successful people. Now, when I say people, I'm referring to people who've achieved success in any aspect of life. Entrepreneurs, athletes, in general, like success leaves clues. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about business or sport or any aspect of life. It's the same stuff, okay? So I want you to take out a notepad. I want you to take out a pen. You're gonna wanna write these down. And then what I'm gonna ask you to do as we go through this together, I'm gonna ask you to score yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 for each of these 12 mindsets. And you're gonna total these up at the end of this video, and your score will be something out of 60, right? 12 mindsets, total of 5 is 60. And you'll be able to see where the deficits might lie and obviously what you can focus on to improve. Does that sound good? Awesome. All right, so the first mindset, millionaire mindset that we want to really think about is extreme clarity. Successful people have an uncanny ability to be very, very clear about what they want. It's not vague, like they can see with laser precision. And so I want you to think about in your life, what's one aspect or something that you've had at some point in your life where you were so clear and focused on it that it was just like in the top of your mind at all times. So as an example, when I was young, I wanted to play pro soccer. So from the time I was 10, it was just like maniacal focus on that. And I was able to do that in my early 20s. And part of the reason for that is because I had such clarity on what I wanted that I just moved in that direction. And in many other aspects of my life, I've seen similar things happen. As an example, when I wanted to buy my first McLaren, I knew exactly which model, what color. I had the visuals cut out and put up on a vision board. And lo and behold, just over a year later, that very car appeared and I bought it. So extreme clarity, like you can't get what you want if you don't know what you want. And it's very hard to get where you want to go if you don't exactly know where that is. Think of it like driving through fog. It's very hard to see where you're going, to know where you're going if you're driving through fog. But as soon as you have like an endless horizon and you can see into the distance, you have a lot more certainty and vision and clarity with that because you know exactly, you're pointing in that direction and we go. So a lot of successful people that I've met over the years, they're very clear on what they want. Very, very clear. And in fact, one of the biggest red flags that I have noticed, having worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, if I'm asking them a question, where do you want your business to be in the next 6 to 12 months? And they give me an answer like, I never thought about that. That's a good question. I'm not too sure. I am stopping the conversation immediately. Because if you don't know where you want to go, nothing I can do to help you will help you get there. So in your business as well, if you're a coach working with other clients, for instance, if your clients don't know what they want, they will never say yes to working with you. Make sense? Okay, number 2, second mindset that the rich people have that a lot of others don't is singularity of focus. Now, this is one of those things that's kind of interesting because some people have asked me, Yuri, who do you look up to? Like, who's a role model that you look up to? And to be honest, I don't really know if I have any. Because there isn't one person that encompasses everything. Success in business, really healthy and fit, great relationship, and a great father. I don't know a single person in my 44 years on this planet who encompasses all of that. Now, I don't know everyone on the planet, obviously. I'm sure there might be some people out there. But the thing is, what I've realized is that when you have singularity of focus, you have to compromise other aspects of your life. It is very hard to become world-class at something and also have everything else in order. Now, I think I have a pretty good balance of things. I mean, I have 4 kids. I'm a pretty good dad, I think. I have a good relationship with my wife. I'm healthy. I'm fit. I have a very successful business. Financially, things are good. But when you look at super, super successful people like Elon Musk as an example, I think he's got like 7 kids or something. You wouldn't even know that. He's just maniacally focused on one thing. And this is the dichotomy of success. This is the trade-off we have to make. If we want to become very successful in any aspect of what we're trying to be successful in, there's going to be compromise. Back in the day, I was in the fitness space. I have a lot of friends who competed in terms of bodybuilding and stuff like that. They sacrificed a lot, right? 3-4 hours in the gym, chicken and broccoli. They didn't go to dinner. They didn't have much of a social life. There's a focus there that is a decision to cut off other things from your life. Sometimes the pursuit of success in business means that certain relationships don't really get to flourish. You don't have as much time with friends. I don't go out with a lot of people anymore. I don't go for, I had a text message from a friend the other day. He's like, hey, so-and-so's coming into the city. We're going to go for dinner tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to go out. I have to drive 30 minutes into the city. We're going to have dinner. I'm going to be back at 1 a.m. The next day's a write-off. I say no to almost all of that stuff because I understand the consequences of me taking those actions. And for me, I'm just sharing my perspective. To me, what I'm focused on, the mission I'm focused on is more important than having dinner with a couple friends that I haven't seen for a couple months. That's my priority. Now, not everyone else has that same priority, but here's the thing, is if you prioritize those dinners, those relationships, and I'm not saying all the time, but I would be willing to bet that you are willing to sacrifice the growth of a business or a bigger vision or a mission for those types of relationships. And that's 100% fine. I'm just sharing with you what the rich and very successful in business do differently and the sacrifices that they make is the singularity of focus. Now, I'm not saying I don't hang out with my kids. I mean, my kids, I see them. I'm done my work at 3:30 every single day. And then I'm driving them to soccer. I'm hanging out with them. We're going to play soccer. We're playing tennis. I make sure that is a very big priority for my life because it's very important to me. But I will choose that over other things. I had another friend send me a message a couple weeks ago. Hey, Yuri, I'm getting some people together to work out a few times a week. Want to see if you join us? I'm like, cool. What time of the day or what, how many days a week are you thinking? He's like, I'm thinking 7:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning. I'm like, dude, that's my magic time. There's no way I'm going to work out with a bunch of guys in the morning at 7:30. Number one, it's my focus time. Number two, I'm with the kids before they go to school. That's never going to happen. So you have to really prioritize what's most important in your life and ruthlessly cut out everything else. Third mindset is burning desire. To be honest, I think this is the most important one because burning desire trumps everything. Burning desire puts in focus and in priority sequence what's most important. And I give this example quite a bit. So again, we help health professionals and coaches grow their coaching businesses. And that means they're going to be speaking with prospects over the phone or on Zoom to get them to enroll with them, to help them solve a major condition, with their health. And a lot of times, people are like, well, like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's a lot of money to invest in my own health, my health condition that I've been dealing with for 20 years. I'm like, okay, it's just not that important to you. That's what it comes down to, right? Unless you fundamentally don't have the money. But here's the way I think about this. If your kids got kidnapped, would you find a way to come up with the money? And every single parent would say yes, unless you don't want to have your kids. So what does that tell you? That means that is a burning desire. That's a 10 out of 10. Hell yes, must happen. And this is a nice to have. And that's the biggest problem in the modern world is this mediocrity, is this being okay with shit and thinking that living in shit is normal and okay. It's not okay, right? And this is why it's really important to be around other very successful people, whether it's, when I say successful, I'm not just talking about financial, okay? I'm talking about high-level athletes, like people in your sport, if you're into sports, people who are playing at a higher level, who are better than you. It's people who are fitter and healthier than you. It's people who are making more money than you. It's people who have a better relationship than you. Because what you will see is a new standard. It's like, oh, that's possible? What I'm living is not okay. This is very mediocre at best. And what that does is it creates a gap. It stretches a gap and it creates a lot of tension within you. And that's a very good thing because I call that positive peer pressure. You become your environment. You become a reflection of your peer group. If you hang around with everyone from high school and you're in your 40s and all those people from high school are still living in the past, or they're working a 9-to-5 job and they think that, you going out and building your dream is risky and scary and like, what if it doesn't work out? You're hanging around the wrong fucking crowd, right? Get around people who are thinking bigger, who think possibility, positivity, who are further ahead of you because they will pull you up. They will never push you down. It's only the people beneath you who are going to pull you down like a bucket of crabs in a bucket. So this burning desire a lot of times comes from looking around and recognizing that there is more to life than what you're living. And it's not about keeping up with the Joneses, but I can promise you this. It is very powerful to be in environments that get you thinking possibility and bigger. Fly first class, at least once, right? If you've been flying economy, you will experience something very different and you will never want to go back to the back of the plane. Drive a better car, live in a nicer neighborhood, even spend time in a nicer neighborhood. A couple houses ago, when we were moving back into the city, we moved out of the city to start our family many, many years ago. And then we just got sick of it because it was a small town. Our next door neighbor, pickup truck, hitched up on a lawn, beer belly, drinking beer at 10 in the morning on his porch, that kind of vibe. I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not living here anymore. So after 5 years of that, we decided to move back to the city. But what I actually did is I rented a condo in the neighborhood we wanted to live. And what I did is I'd spend 2 days a week just kind of coming in there and I would walk the neighborhood. And I started to feel as if I lived there. And it raised my ambition. It raised my desire for wanting to make that happen. When I bought my first McLaren, I actually took the car. I went for a day of supercar driving. And we finished the day driving a McLaren 570S. And I have a BMW. At the time, I had a BMW M5, which I still have. And I thought that car was amazing. It was my dream car for many, many years. And I was like, it's a great car. It still is. But when I drove the McLaren, I was like, this thing is a rocket ship. And then I had to hand it back and get back in my M5 and drive home. And I was like, man, this is like not the same. So put yourself in environments that challenge you to grow. And it's not about wanting more in the next thing. But listen, like we live in a beautiful world and you should be able to explore and enjoy all of the fruits of this amazing planet. There's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. I mean, I bought my dream car, my M5, which I've now had for more than 10 years. Then I was like, I'm ready for the next thing. So I bought a McLaren after driving it. And then a year later, I bought another McLaren because I wanted it. And my mom was like, why do you need 2 McLarens? I'm like, because I want them. I drive them to Starbucks. I go on a couple rallies. I drive them to country roads. I get a tremendous amount of joy from driving these cars. I'm going to drive them into the ground. I'm not going to be one of those collectors who doesn't drive their cars. But that's, for me, that just brings happiness into my life. Now, I'm not saying I need those cars to be happy. I'm very fulfilled doing what I love. But for you, whatever it is, don't let other people dim your lights. If you want a private jet, or if you want to live in a better house, or if you want to take, a spaceship to Mars, do it, okay? But that burning desire, you have to find something that is going to get you pumped, because building success in business especially is very hard. And I don't care what you hold on to kind of get you going, you got to find something, because you need reasons why to keep going when the going gets tough. Fourth millionaire mindset is unwavering commitment. You are going to get punched in the face, metaphorically speaking, more than you will win. So you have to be resilient. You have to keep getting up. You have to be like Rocky in the movie Rocky, right? He just gets pounded and just beaten down. And I'm coming back up. Here we go. He just keeps getting back up. And you need that. You need that resilience. So when I was young playing soccer, I was on a team that we would get beat severely every single game. Now I was the goalkeeper. So we're losing games 10-0, ridiculous, not 1-0, 10-0, 8-0, stuff like that. And you can look at this 2 ways. One is you could be like, well, that would kill your confidence. Or 2, it's like, well, now I had a lot of exposure to shots and situations that I may not have otherwise had if we were the best team and we were the ones winning 10-0. So that experience gave me more exposure. And I believe that was a very pivotal piece of my development in becoming what I believe was the best goalie in the country at a fairly early age. And that commitment to just keep going in that path. And this comes back to like this extreme clarity and this focus is just like go no matter what. Like you need reasons why you want this thing, whether it's to achieve in sport or, build the business you want. I don't care what your reasons are. It doesn't matter to me, right? It's like you have to go and you can't stop when the going gets tough because the going is always going to be tough and things are not going to work out the way you want them to. And when you have a great win, you're going to have many failures to follow that. It's this up and down roller coaster. And if you think it's just going to be this, it's not. Okay? You're going to go through the dip. You're going to go through many moments of despair. You're going to hit your head against the wall. You're going to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And you need to keep coming back to reasons why you started in the first place. So that unwavering commitment is really important. Now, before we go any further, I just want to pause for a second. And when I come back, we talked about extreme clarity, singular focus, burning desire, unwavering commitment. Now, I want you to rate yourself, if you haven't done so, on a scale of 1 to 5. With respect to something that's important to you, whether it's building success in business, let's just talk about that because that's typically what this channel's about. So just quickly rate yourself. 5 is I'm like absolutely 100%. 1 is never. Okay? So give yourself a score on 5 for each one of those 4. Now, moving on. The 5th millionaire mindset is courage. Courage is, well, I'll put it this way. One of my earlier coaches, Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, used to say, fear is wetting your pants. Courage is what you do with wet pants. See, all of us feel fear, right? I do. Everyone else does. Like, no one is immune to that. The top athletes in the world, they step onto the field and they still feel like scared sometimes. But it's what they do next that makes them great. A lot of people don't achieve what they say they want in life because they allow fear to be bigger than what they're trying to get after. And the only difference with those who actually get after it is they use courage. So courage is like a muscle, right? The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the easiest way to build courage is just to do something that scares you over and over again. So if you think on a daily basis, like, oh man, I really have to make this phone call because it's important, but I don't want to talk to this person because it's uncomfortable, have them call, right? Have the hard conversation. Send the email you don't want to send. If you're worried about posting too often on social media because people are going to leave negative comments, do the very thing your mind is telling you not to do, right? Because the more you put yourself out there, the more people are going to talk shit about you. Who cares? They're not doing anything. You are. So have the courage to move forward. So the really simple thing is like, think about what is making you feel afraid and just go. Just do it. Because nothing is going to change if you allow fear to paralyze you, right? If you're driving a car, fear is the brake, courage is the gas pedal. So it's like, oh my God, stop. You're not going to go anywhere. You're paralyzed. You're not moving forward. And humans feel absolutely depressed when they're not making forward progress. You will feel so much better about yourself. You'll become a better version of yourself if you look to constantly do things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable. If you're an entrepreneur, growth is probably one of your biggest values. Growth and comfort don't live in the same universe. You literally have to leave comfort to have growth. It's that simple. And growth requires courage. Courage to get uncomfortable, to challenge yourself, to do the thing that would otherwise be less comfortable to do. It's taking that cold plunge as an example, right? It's having that hard conversation. It's getting up on stage when you might feel afraid. That's courage. Number 6, and I wish more fucking adults would really take this to heart, is extreme ownership. Let me put it this way. Everything in your life is your fault. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you will be a grown-ass adult. And I'm just fucking baffled. And again, the profanity comes from a level of passion around this. I am absolutely shocked by the number of adults who blame other people for their situation. I want you to understand this very closely. Wherever you are in life is only your fault. So if you are massively successful, if you're healthy, if you're fit, if you got great relationships, great job, that's on you. And if you're the opposite of that, that's also on you. Now, the good thing about that is that you are the one who's in control because you have made the decisions. You've made the decisions to sleep in, not work out, eat like shit, not pursue your dreams, whatever. Cool. That means you can change. But if you blame other people for your shortcomings, you're a victim. You're a victim. And victims don't win in life because you give away your power. And I have no tolerance, zero tolerance for victims and people who point their finger at other people, because you will never get where you want to go without taking full responsibility for that. A couple years ago, I'm driving home and this lady sideswipes me, and obviously I had to stop the car, get the insurance, all that kind of stuff. So she ironically was in a panic because she was trying to find parking on her way to yoga, right? How ironic is that? So she hits the back of my car. Obviously, she took care of it with insurance. But I thought to myself, it's so easy. It's so easy to be like, you did this, how dare you? But I said, as I was driving home, I said, Yuri, how did you cause this? How did you create this? You drove too fast. Maybe you drove too slow. Maybe you left a little bit late and you could have left a little bit sooner. And I know that sounds extreme, but when you take ownership for everything, then you have control of everything to the degree that you can control things. I mean, we can't control the weather, obviously, but there are things that we have within our power that we can control. In business, people ask me, Yuri, what's your guarantee? I'm like, dude, you're the guarantee. You have no track record building a business. I do. Thousands of times with many people in your situation. Here's my guarantee. I can guarantee you a proven path to get where you want to go. But I can guarantee you an outcome. Number one, that's FTC non-compliant. And two, it's I can't live in your body. I can't live in your head. I can't push the buttons on your computer. I can't talk to your prospects. You have to do that. And if you don't understand that, I want nothing to do with you. Please don't ever talk to me again. Leave. Again, this is one of the biggest things that drives me crazy is people are looking for results. They're looking for guaranteed results in an uncertain world, in a world where you and I individually are the only guarantee that we have. But again, if you don't take extreme ownership, this is the single biggest thing that will keep you fucking broke and miserable. The sooner you realize that everything is in your control, the sooner you realize that good or bad, everything is on you, well done. Now, some people say, well, you're just using that so you don't take any ownership of your own stuff. I'm like, fuck off. Of course I do. If you only knew the level of ownership I take in every aspect of our business, like I'm not responsible for my clients. I'm not responsible for the results. But if you saw the level of thought and care that goes into how we make our program, our coaching, our experience as amazing as possible, knowing full well that our clients still have to do their part, you might think differently. So again, you can talk smack about me all you want. I don't give a shit, to be honest. But I take extreme ownership for my part 100%. 100% in every aspect of my life. And I just expect other people I work with or know to do the same. And if they don't, they will never be in my life. I can promise you that. Okay, anyways, moving on. Number 7, seventh mindset here that rich people have differently than others is resourcefulness. You don't need resources to be successful or rich. You have to be resourceful. One of the best places to be in your life is sometimes with your back up against the wall, because that's what forces innovation. That's what forces creativity. That's what forces you to really think outside the box. Think about it this way. If you started a company and I gave you $5 million, just think about how you would go about your day with that, okay? Think about what you would do with that money. You might get an office space. You might hire some people. You might buy a ping pong table. I don't even know, okay? But what I'm trying to get at is the level of wastefulness that will come with that is exponential compared to if you had nothing. So I bootstrapped all of my businesses. And I've taken no outside investment. We've been cash flow positive for as long as, at least with the current business for the past 7 years. My whole philosophy is live broke. Okay, so I take out of my business the bare minimum I need to live on personally. Because why would I take out more? I don't need to pay more personal tax than I need to. So I take out what I need. I know exactly to the dollar amount, exactly how much I need on a monthly basis. I don't take out of my business anymore. So personally, I live broke because my income takes care of my expenses and that's it. Like I don't have tens of millions of dollars sitting in my personal account. Why would I do that? I'm going to pay way more in tax. It's not an efficient use of that money. And if I'm going to invest it, I'm going to put it through other avenues that I have. In business as well, I take profit out of our business, right? There's obviously a certain cash reserve we leave in the company, but I take everything out of the business that I need to. Because what that does is, again, it puts the business at a level where we don't get lazy. And it forces us on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to always be looking at how do we get better? How do we strive? How do we increase cash reserves? And I've purposely done this because I thrive in situations where I have to be resourceful, innovative, and thinking creatively. If I'm sitting on millions of dollars of cash, like liquid cash in the business, and I see that on my bank account, I'm not going to be as pumped to go do stuff, right? I take that money and I put it into investments and other things that we do outside of the business. But within the business, there's a tremendous amount of value to really thinking about, okay, well, we have to hit these targets. How do we make that happen? How do we get resourceful? How can we be creative? And it doesn't matter if it's this or any aspect of life. It's a thinking of so what people who are broke and don't do well in life think about is, I can't do this, okay? It's a very fixed mindset with a brick wall in front of you. So there's no possibility. What growth-oriented people, they just frame that differently. So instead of I can't do this, they ask the question, how can I make this happen? How can I do this? That's it. When my kids were young, they're learning how to put on their seatbelts in the car. Their first inclination was, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I asked them, I'm like, well, what do we ask instead? They're like, I can't do this. I'm like, no. What can you ask instead? How can I do this? Or who can help me do this? And what that does is it turns you from a fixed-minded, I can't do anything type of person, there's no way I can make this happen, into a growth-oriented person who's looking for solutions. And how this shows up later in life is you're running your business and you come into a situation like I did back in 2010 when I hired my first coach. I paid this coach more money than I made in my previous year in business. So what a fixed mindset person says is, I can't do it, it's too expensive. And that's why they stay broke, and that's why they stay stuck. And what I asked instead was, I'm scared out of my pants, but I know this is the thing I need to do. How do I make this happen? And I just threw it on 2 credit cards. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to make this happen. I don't know how, but I'm going to make it happen. And that's the difference. Again, I'm not saying I'm a special snowflake, guys, okay? But success leaves clues. And I'm just trying to give you kind of like a little bit of an autopsy. You know, if you were to look at someone's mindset who's achieved success in a lot of areas of life, and I would say I'm one of those people. I've created a lot of wealth in my life. I played professional soccer. I graduated summa cum laude from the school I was in. Everything I've done, I have done at the highest level. And that's because that's who I am in my core. We have a whole playlist on this channel called #winning, not #losing. #winning. So if you jive with this stuff, make sure you subscribe and make sure you watch all those videos on the #winning playlist. Okay? It's no BS. It's right to the core. It's going to get right in your head and you're going to show up as a different human as a result of that. So being resourceful is number 7. So again, as I'm going through this stuff, you want to write this stuff down, score yourself 1 to 5. What's interesting about this is the score you give yourself, I promise you, is a very different score than I would give you if I knew you. Okay, so just a reality check on that as well. Number 8, success stamina. How long can you keep going, right? How long can you keep going? I've been in business for 20 years. Very few other people in the online space have been. I know a handful of them, some of them are my closest friends. And in today's economy, world, whatever, the biggest problem is everyone's looking for quick wins for nothing. And it's the Ozempic. I mean, think of it, it's like the Ozempic shit that's going on. Like, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to change my habits. Therefore, I'm just going to take an injection and never eat food again. Oh, cool. Awesome. Like, good for you. You don't have what it takes to change who you are to become the type of person you need to be to lose the weight. That's the problem, because doing that is harder than getting an injection. That's the human condition. Okay, I'm not saying everyone, but a large percent of the population, as you know, would rather pop a pill, take an injection, get Botox, than actually change how they show up on a day-to-day basis, because change is fucking hard. You have to have success stamina. because change is so hard, you will go through this roller coaster and you will go through moments where you want to give up and you have to keep going. And this ties back into unwavering commitment. And I want you to think, because success stamina is a little bit different from unwavering commitment in the sense that you are playing this for the long haul. People ask me, like, when we're hiring different team members, they often ask me, like, Yuri, what's your goal with the business? Are you looking to sell? I'm like, no, I sold my previous company because I wanted to get out of it. But I've learned a lot of lessons, and my goal with Healthpreneur is never to sell. Like, we've built a company that is very sellable, but I have no intention of selling it. Why would I? I love what I do. It makes a tremendous amount of money, and we have a very big vision, right? We want to become a household name in the entire world when it comes to health. We're disrupting a fucking broken healthcare model, and I want to build a business that exceeds my lifespan. Why would I want to sell that? And I want to create that vision because when you have a very long-term vision, the micro is insignificant because you know that there are bigger fish to fry. There are bigger decisions that are driving you as opposed to what are we going to do tomorrow? Oh, we didn't send out an email this week or yesterday or whatever it is. Who cares, right? You start to think bigger. You start making decisions from 10 years in the future as opposed to what are we promoting tomorrow to make money? And that's not a good place to live. It's the same thing with investing. If you are investing, so like in Canada as an example, which is an absolute shit show in terms of the government and taxation, Pierre Trudeau, who is, I don't even know how he's in power to be honest, instilled a higher capital gains tax. So basically if you sell something, you make capital gains, you're paying more than you used to be, which is ridiculous. He's just making up for all the mess ups he made during COVID. But a lot of people freak out about that. You know, I mean, like, I'm sure there's some merit to that because if you sell an asset, you're going to pay capital gains on it. And now that capital gains tax is going to be higher than it was previously. But for me, I didn't look at that as like, this is the end of the world because I have no intention of selling my assets. You know, we're building a house in Mexico. Even our interior designer was asking me, she's like, hey, like, so once the house is done, what do you, like, are you guys going to let her like sell it? I'm like, why would I want to sell it? Okay, we just spent the last 3 years building our dream home. And she's like, well, I've seen what's been happening with some of the developments here. I'm like, you guys could get some crazy money for this. And I'm like, listen, even if somebody offered me $50 million for this house, I would not take it. Because what am I going to do with the $50 million? I'm going to take the $50 million and then build another house that's exactly the very thing I wanted to build in the first place. It's not about the money. It's about I'm creating something for the long term, a house, a home that we can come back to forever, right? That our kids will have, that we can use as a meeting ground when they're older and all this kind of stuff. So I'm thinking long term, I'm just going to hold this and we can rent it out in the meantime and make a killing from that cash flow. I'm not looking to flip something and buy and flip and like, you know, these short-term thinking type of things, I think gets us into trouble. And the same thing happens in business. While we're making short-term decisions, we very often compromise our long-term values. I don't think that's a good trade-off. Okay, number 9, ninth mindset is abundance, this abundant thinking. So I'll share this with you from a perspective of this YouTube channel. I shared everything on this channel with no filter. So I shared tactically a lot of very strategic tactical stuff that you can implement into your business. Some of it is stuff that I share with my clients only. I'm like, I don't care. Like, some people look at that as like, well, I got to hold some stuff back because if people take that, then they'll just leave. I'm like, I get that. But if you don't give away your best stuff, then 99% of the population who's never going to work with you in the first place is only going to see the shittiest stuff from you. And listen, people invest with you not because of what they're expecting, but because of what they've experienced. So if I put out my best stuff, giving abundantly, then I feel that we will attract the right people because of reciprocity, because they actually see, you know, that I know what I'm talking about, as opposed to me holding everything back and be like, cool, if you guys actually want the secret sauce, then you got to pay me money to get there. Now, listen, I'm not going to lie about this. If you really want to achieve your results in your business, you'll have to pay for it because you always get what you pay for. And there's a lot of people who watch these videos who don't do shit with them, right? And that's just the nature of free advice. So, but for me, again, it's like, I don't care. I want to give abundantly because I know the more I give, the more I get. I'm here to contribute. It's not even because I know it's going to come back to me. It's just I feel more fulfilled in life when I'm just giving abundantly. And I don't care. I don't hold back. I'm just like, give, right? And that's one example of like thinking abundantly. So for you, think about how can you be more abundant in your life with your money as an example, right? How can you be more abundant with your money? And you might want to think about very specific examples here. So when you're paying for something, think about the mindset that you're using. Like, think about the feelings and mindset you have when you are paying for something. Like, oh shit, this is a lot of money, or I've got a bill. Oh man, I got to pay for this damn bill, or damn, I got to send these taxes in. Shift your mindset to, I am so grateful that I can pay for this bill. I'm so grateful that I can pay $150 a month for my phone. I'm so grateful that I owe X number of dollars in tax, right? I'm so grateful that more money is always coming in, and then like all I am is a conduit. I'm not holding on to or hoarding anything. I'm just a medium. Money comes in and it goes right back out, right? Like nothing is yours. You're a custodian temporarily of money, of your house. Like the house I live in, I don't own this house. I mean, I do, but at some point, whether I sell it or die, someone else will take it, right? So I'm a temporary custodian for this thing. Let me take care of it. Let me leave it better than I found it. And the next person will enjoy it, even more. So when you are buying something, think about, man, like, is it a lot of money? No, it's not a lot of money, right? It's not a lot of money. Give abundantly, like feel okay just allowing money to flow through you. The Dead Sea, a really good analogy of this is the Dead Sea in Israel is one of the only bodies of water that only receives. It has no outlet. And it's called the Dead Sea because everything is dead. Nothing lives in that water because of its salinity. It's the only body of water that receives exclusively. It doesn't give, right? So life is about flow. You receive and you give. If you only receive, you limit what's possible for you in a very big way. So be willing to give abundantly. The most successful people I know are the most giving and abundant people. They freely share everything. I'm in a couple masterminds, and we're talking about super successful entrepreneurs, and they don't hold anything back. They're like, here's what it looks like. Here are my numbers. Try this for yourself. Here's exactly what we're doing. And it's like everyone just gives freely and abundantly because they know it's not even about it's going to come back to them. It's just who they are. There's no scarcity. When I came online back in 2005, one of the first things I noticed that was dramatically different from building an offline brick and mortar business was the level of cooperation and abundance. So I was a trainer and nutritionist, and in most situations, like you would never, like the other trainers or people in your world, competition down the road is your competition, right? Like they would take clients or patients from your potential business. Online, it was all about like, how can I support you? Can I email my list to tell them about your thing or vice versa? And I was so blown away by that level of cooperation and abundance that I was like, man, like you're literally doing the same thing I do and you're willing to support me and share my stuff with your audience? That's pretty cool. So being abundant is very important. Number 10. So again, score yourself 1 to 5. How are we doing so far? Good? Number 10 is being a grow giver. A grow giver is someone who is obsessed with growing because the more you grow, the more you can give. So it's this voraciousness of learning, of consuming, and then creating. It's read the books, watch the videos, go through the coaching, go through the masterminds, go through all that stuff, assimilate it, contextualize it, share it. The more you grow, the more you can give, right? You can only give what you personally know and have personally mastered, I believe. I don't think you should ever teach anything you don't understand yourself or haven't done. At least that's my philosophy. So if I want to be more valuable to my clients, my team, the people in general that we serve, I need to constantly be growing. I don't know everything. And we actually, one of our core values is driven to grow. No one in our business survives if they think they know everything. We actually had this happen recently where they were too cool for school. They thought they had all the answers and they were unwilling to consider any other growth opportunities because they thought they had all the answers, even though they didn't. And you can't work with people like that. At least not us. And so be like, no matter how successful you are, no matter how much you think you know, you always have to be willing to grow. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I have a pretty high degree of confidence in my ability to help others grow a great business. And I do. because I've done it thousands of times. And I think we've built a very unique business with Healthpreneur. And at the same time, I am never done. Like I know that I'm very good, but I'm not good enough. So as an example, 2 months ago, I took 2 new Facebook guide courses. I just purchased them because I'm like, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And the moment I think I know everything is the moment this thing just goes to the floor. And so I'm always investing in masterminds and courses. And I'm like, I just need the 1%. I'm not looking for a course that's going to give me everything. I don't need everything. I need one idea, a 1% nuance, because that I'm just going to add that into my tool belt and I will become better because of that. And I think where a lot of people go wrong is they're looking for the panacea. They're looking for this one solution that's going to give them everything. And sometimes that doesn't happen. But look for the one idea. Look for the one thing that can unlock big growth in your business. And again, the more you learn, the more you can contribute to others. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, so millionaire mindset number 11 is kind of follows from this, is a very high level of self-belief and self-worth. You get what you believe you're worth. You get in life what you believe is possible for you. If you don't believe you're worth $1 million, you're not going to get $1 million. If you don't feel like increasing your prices, it's because you don't feel worthy of increasing your prices. If you don't believe you can live in a better house, well, you're not going to live in a better house. Like, you have to be worthy of, you get in life what you believe you are worth. You get what you tolerate. You get what you believe is true for you, not what you want. So work on yourself, work on your self-belief, work on what you believe is possible. And again, specifically for you. And I want you to, again, continually, this is not something that happens overnight. You have to put yourself in situations. You have to have inputs coming in that are going to feed you positivity. Just like you would feed your body good food, you got to feed your mind good thoughts, because all of this is going to help contribute to your level of self-belief and self-worth. I don't give a shit what happened to you as a kid. I'm not saying that in a mean way. We've all been through stuff, okay? And yeah, obviously the formative years can make a huge difference for the rest of our lives. I get that, right? No parent is perfect. I've fucked up my kids. I've also done some really good stuff for them. It is what it is. All I can do now is do my best to equip them with skills to help them become amazing adults and flourish through life, okay? And they also have to take it upon themselves to do the work, just like you and I do. So what can we do to instill more self-belief, to instill more self-worth? We got to practice. We got to train. We got to do the things that are going to reinforce what it is that we want, right? So if you want to be more valuable, right, so you can earn more, then think about, how do I become more valuable? How do I add more value to other people's lives? How do I help my clients to a higher level? Because if they have more success, then that will reinforce for me that I am worth more. Does that make sense? So again, for you, where do you score yourself on the self-belief, self-worth side of things? And one of the easiest ways to look at this is you look at your bank account, and if you don't like what you see, that's a reflection of your self-belief and self-worth. It's what you believe currently that you are worth having. If you make $100,000 a year, that's because that's what you believe you're worth. If you make $100 million a year, that's what you believe you're worth. And there's nothing wrong with either one, but if you want to be somewhere different than you are now, you have to work on that. And the final thing, number 12, is your success surroundings. So again, this is a simple one, 1 to 5, okay? 5 is like 100%, this is me. Do the people around you and your environment reflect where you want to be? So are the friends or the family you hang around with the most, do they have the level of success in whatever aspect that is, health, fitness, money, whatever, that you want? If not, that's pretty simple. It's not a 5 out of 5. If you don't like the surroundings you live in, if you don't like the house you live in, if you don't like the neighborhood you live in, well, that's part of your surroundings, okay? You have to be honest with yourself. Maybe it's a 1 out of 5. And honestly, the easiest way to change your behavior is to change your environment, right? Figure out a way to put yourself in environments, in rooms with people who are more successful than you. Like if you live in a certain area of the city that is not really where you want to be, find a way to go to the neighborhoods that inspire you, that help you dream big, and go for a walk down those streets. The more time you spend there, the more you'll feel, going back to the self-worth piece, that this is who you are. And you'll start to raise your level of ambition, which goes back to burning desire. And maybe extreme clarity. and Singularity of Focus and Unwavering Commitment to this bigger vision for yourself. Your environment trumps everything. The predictor of your success in life comes down to where you were born, like the zip code in which you were born. However, if you were not born in the best area, you can't use that as an excuse not to do well in life. Put yourself in other environments that inspire you. Do whatever you have to do. Go down, park your car, or take the subway or whatever to the nicest neighborhoods. Walk through the streets. Put yourself in that space. Put yourself in those surroundings. Be around other people. Invest in coaching, invest in masterminds, take out a friggin' credit line or a loan. I don't give a shit. You have to be around other people that are going to stretch you and show you what's possible and to help you see that you're most likely playing small. Not in a bad way, but to show you what's possible of what's potentially true for any of us. When you sit beside someone in a room who's making 100 times more money than you, and you realize that they're a human with 2 eyes and a mouth and 2 ears and hands and feet, and they're nothing special, all of a sudden it's like, shit, maybe I could do this too. Put yourself in situations that challenge you so you recognize that the people around you, they're not that special. They're just normal people who just have these traits, these mindsets, and you can evolve and adapt and build these into who you are as well. So those are the 12 millionaire mindsets. What I want you to finish off with right now is you have 12, right? 1 to 5 on each of them. If you want, you can share your total score with me in the comments below. So on a score of 60, where are you at right now? It can be 12, it can be 40, I don't care. Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know the one area that you have done out of the 12, the one area you think is best for you. What's the one of these 12 mindsets that you think I've done this really well? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to seeing your scores. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe because I've got tons of other videos on the channel and coming your way to help you build a wildly successful coaching business, but also help you build a successful life, to help you build your mindset to become an unstoppable human, to crush anything in life, whether it's becoming fitter, becoming a better business owner, becoming a better parent, a family member, whatever, because it's all the same stuff. How you do anything is how you do everything. Obviously, in the context of what we're doing here, it's more about business, but I promise you the principles you learn here are going to trickle into every other area of your life, and you will become a better human as a result of being here. Thanks for your time. Let me know your score below, and I'll see you in the next video. There are 7 main pitfalls that keep coaching businesses stuck. And if your coaching business is not growing, this video is for you.